Super Rugby Power Rankings for round number 3, folks. Some of the teams who were kind of largely written off for round 3 managed to get themselves some wins. How does that change the form for each of these teams? We'll go through them bottom to top, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how fair or not we've got the power rankings, remembering it's supposed to be a bit different from the table in terms of recent form rather than just points in the bank. I'm wearing the Drua jersey, and I've got to say I'm sorry, but the Drua have still come out in 11th on the power rankings. They are 10th on the table. They did beat the Hurricanes, and I honestly gave them full credit for that win. But they were lagging behind everyone else from the carryover from last season's results, plus the opening 2 rounds, particularly that first game. But they've more or less caught up to the teams I've got them just behind now. So that's at least some positive signs there. They're coming into some form, hopefully, with that horrendous conditions win in Lautoka. They did the job over a much fancied Hurricane side, so I'll give them some credit. Apologies, you still last, despite a good win. I promise I gave them credit for it. Next, and down 1 spot, is the Highlanders. Again, kind of a bit familiar from last year. They were kind of given a decent chance over in Brisbane against the Reds, but ended up getting pretty comfortably beaten in the end. It was a bonus point win for the Reds. So there's 2 losses on the bounce now for the Highlanders. They've been competitive for the last 2, but losses in the last 2. And then Moana Pacifica, who I think are last on the actual table, had a pretty disappointing home loss against the Force at Pukekohe. That was honestly a game they could have been targeting. They brought back the big gun players, the Force that had to travel all the way from Perth. Yeah, they got them down 3 spots with that loss. I'm a little bit worried about how the rest of the season is going to go based on that one, but it is only just the one game. That's your bottom 3. Middle row, I've got the Force, who did get that win. Much needed win for them after 2 home losses to start their season. They're up 2 spots. Yeah, a win on New Zealand soil, hard to come by for these guys. They're still in New Zealand for the next round against the Highlanders. So, yeah, imagine if they can string a few results together. That would be nice for the Force. They recruit well, but it's always getting the guys to gel. I feel like it's harder for them than teams like the Brumbies or the Crusaders who just bring academy guys through. I don't know, something about bringing through fully developed rugby players and getting them into your systems when there's chopping and changing. It's tough. But I'm rooting for them. I'd love to see the Force in the playoffs. Then my Blues. My Blues suffered another loss. So I got them down 2 spots. They were not given much of a chance against the Brumbies. They were leading with a minute to go against the Brumbies. And I'm still upset they managed to lose that one. Flip side of that coin is the Brumbies managed to win that one. But yes, the Blues still managed to find a way to disappoint. It's a loss. You can look at the bright side and say, hey, a losing bonus point. If you'd offered me that before the game, I might have taken it. But a loss is still a loss from a winning position. Then there's the Canes. The Canes, with their result over in Fiji, have also dropped 2 spots. Remember, sat on the bye for the first one. Big win in the second and then loss in the third. So it's a 1-1 record for the Hurricanes. They're like 4th on the table, but yeah. 1-1 is a record a few other teams have got, well, at least a win and losses. Now, the Reds are in 5th. They've got the same record as the Hurricanes with 1-1. They're probably higher than the Hurricanes because their loss came in round 1, their bye was round 2, and their win is more recent. We're putting more weight on the recent results for the Reds, and it was a good win over Atlanta, so they're up 2 spots. That was a needed win after the dropping the early game to the Tars. Great way to bounce back from the bye period. Top row, we haven't got the Crusaders yet, but they are there in 4th. They don't have as good record as some of the other teams I've put them above, in that they have more losses than wins. Like, technically, that's a worse record than the Canes or the Reds. But we did carry over a bit of data from last year. They are the reigning champions, so we give them a bit of credit for that. And it feels kind of fair after they went into Hamilton against the unbeaten Chiefs and put 40-plus points on them. So, yes, do not write the Crusaders off. I have up them a whopping 4 spots for this round. The team that beat the Chiefs, they are down. couple of spots, or at least one, down one spot with the loss to the Crusaders. Maybe it's a bit of a bogey team, maybe it's a bit of a mental thing, maybe the Crusaders are just good. But that was a chance for the Chiefs to really dent the Crusaders' campaign. Like, put them none from 3. It starts to become a long road back. The pressure starts to mount, but nope. Chiefs dropped that one, so they drop in the power rankings. Then we got the Tars, who are in second. They didn't play at the weekend. They were on the bye. So 2 wins and a bye. They are still undefeated in second. And then the Brumbies are still your number 1 side. So the Tars are up 1. Brumbies are the same. 3 from 3. Blues made them work for it, but it is still a win for the Brumbies. They are showing potentially that kind of, I don't want to say champion team, but you know, that top team mentality that even when you come up against adversity, even when you're not firing at your best, like they went to the Crusaders and had a massive result. It's a harder grind against the Blues at home, but they still managed to get it done. So that is very, very encouraging for Stephen Larkham's boys. That's the power rankings for week 3. You guys let us know your thoughts. Who is too highly ranked? Who are you backing as a potential dark horse? Can the Brumbies go all the way? Subscribe to the channel for more Super Rugby, folks. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.